Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, we're going to talk about the day of the Lord. Day of the Lord. Fast approaching. We're talking about World War III. It's on everyone's lips now, all over the news. What is this all about? The Holocaust. Justice. Justice, justice, justice. That's what the Day of the Lord is about. Justice. Perfect justice. Say, what? Why perfect? What do you mean perfect justice? Well, I explain that when I talk about perfect balance. You have balance, you have perfect balance. Because those of you understand how balance works, the fulcrum shifts as the universe expands and contracts. It shifts. So justice changes according to where the fulcrum is, because the balance has to be based on that fulcrum. See? But when the fulcrum is perfectly in the middle, then you have perfect justice, because what's on one side of the equation is on the other side of the equation. It's perfect justice. But as the fulcrum shifts left or right, the balance shifts. See, and that's justice relative to the fulcrum. That's justice relative to the fulcrum. That fulcrum is what you balance on. Like you have a balancing thing, you have something in the middle, and you put a board on it, and it has to be right in the middle. Both sides are equal. It has to be right in the middle. If you shift it, then it's going to get a slant. It's not going to be equal anymore. See? So you got to put some weight on the other side to balance it. Now it's just, but you got more weight on one side, you have the other side. But that's justice, because that's where the fulcrum. Justice is based on where the fulcrum is. I'm not going to that kind of detail here. Maybe I'll further elaborate on that. I actually didn't say those particular words in my presentation, but the fulcrum is the base of justice. It's the standard for justice at that particular time. So in two times in history where the fulcrum is exactly in the middle. That's in the beginning of the expansion and the beginning of the contraction. Or the beginning of the expansion, the maximum expansion, and beginning of the contraction, the maximum contraction. Those are 2 points where it's perfect balance, perfect justice. And that's where we are right now. We're in a time of perfect justice. Perfect justice. And the Holocaust, that's the consequence of what they did to us that was unjust. Quran said, do not touch that tree, lest be unjust. They was just as long as it was just make mission shed blood, as long as it's just enslavement. As long as it's just enslavement, it was just. Because we was told to submit to that. But when they went beyond that into the Holocaust, oppression, rape, murder, hanging, when they went beyond that, that was unjust, and that's what the Holocaust is all about. The injustice. The injustice. Right? Injustice. That's what that's all about. Now they're going to pay, because consequence cannot be denied. God is not mocked. It says they had no fear of God before their eyes. It means they had no fear of consequence. That means these Gentiles, the Bible call them Chaldeans, right? See, that's the Chaldeans is their word for Europeans. They went out unjustly. They went out and took over the whole planet. It says they would come out, Gog and Magog. And they caused mischief, shed blood, but they went beyond that. They caused all the destruction you see on the planet. They say, oh, they saved it. They didn't save the planet, they destroyed the planet. We're going to talk about that in some detail. Okay. But this is a time of perfect justice. See, perfection. See, absolute perfection. And there's no mercy in perfection by definition. There's no mercy in perfection by definition. Because mercy means you have a tolerance. There's no tolerance in perfection by definition. It says it's going to be built a perfect kingdom, 144,000 will be perfect. But he said, well, you said you're going to give deference to the females. There's no imperfection in that. Giving deference to them is justice. It's perfect justice because they went overboard when we was down and out. They went over and beyond what was expected of them to save our nation. So the corrective force doing that is what they deserve. They deserve that extra hand, extra help because they earned it. That's perfection. That's part of the perfection. Because they did more, they put their lives, everything on the line more than they had to, because they didn't have to all they did. But they went beyond what was expected of them. So that means they earned the extra consideration. That's why I say what I say. They earned extra consideration. So that's not unjust. That's perfection. Because perfection means everything is straight up and down the middle, straight, 100%. Male and female equal. Not no degree above and all this kind of stuff. See, that's justice when the fulcrum moves. So, but we put the fulcrum right in the center so it'll be perfect just what's on one side, be on the other side. The female is one side, the male is the other side. There's no snappy, perfect balance. There was a time when the balance was off, right? It took 4 females to balance 1 male. Think about that. See, something I shouldn't even talk about. But that story blows as soon as away, because you got this Quran that at the time the Quran was built, that was justice. That's not justice now. I can't get that point across to you. Abraham had scripture. Where's Abraham's scripture? If Abraham had scripture from God, he had to have a scripture. Where is it? If it's a perfect scripture, we should definitely have Abraham's scripture, shouldn't we? If scripture is perfect, and then for all times, we should most definitely have Abraham's scripture. Why don't we? Because it was for another time. It's not relevant today. The justice changes as you move through time. Perfect justice only occurs 2 times in history. That's why you see Suleiman only appears 2 times in history. He only manifests 2 times in history because he's the only one who can bring perfect justice. You don't hear anybody saying perfect justice. And Farrakhan, with his Sunnism bullshit, if he was to get his 6, 7 states where he talked about everything, and he was to get control of it, he'd be doing the same thing Sunni's doing. 4 to 1, all this kind of stuff. Okay. So that was the knowledge, that was the wisdom for that time. It's not the wisdom for now. So that's what it is. That's why scientists come, when they come to get everybody to understand the justice for that time, what's just for that time. Because otherwise they'll be unjust. That means they'll be what they call them disbelievers, but they'll fail. They will not be successful because what they're doing is not consistent with what is not in sync with the time, not sync with the universe. Because that was good for another time, but it's not good for now. So they're going to fail. Because if one time, if you take and invest $10 at one time and get $10 back, and then another time it's 20 to 1, right? You got to hold, then your investment, you got to understand, so you understand what the nature of the universe is, so you stay just with it. The wisdom of the winter is different than the wisdom of the spring. So the fulcrum changes, shifts. When it shifts, a science, that's why they write those books. They don't write one book and it covers whole 25,000 years. They write a book for each period of time as the fulcrum changes. So in other words, okay, this is the knowledge you need to be successful during this period of time because the fulcrum has changed. That means this is justice now. Justice during the Holocaust was our enslavement. That was justice. But the persecution and everything that went with it, that was not justice. That's why I told them, told Adam, do not go near that tree, this be unjust, because he knew if Adam went towards that tree, he was going to be unjust. That's why it says, at least you be unjust. Because he knew he'd be unjust. He would go beyond what he was. See, remember, you got to put things together. He was, first of all, he was given rulership over us. Right? And his rulership, nature's rulership was make shed blood. So he was, and we're supposed to submit to that. That was justice. If the God tells you to do it, that's justice. Listen, I ain't gonna do it, but that was justice. See? But he says, you be careful, that tree right there, this should be unjust. That means go beyond the limits prescribed. And that's what they did. They took us from enslavement to the Holocaust. So now they're reaping the benefits of that, the reward, consequences of it. So now the fulcrum is shift, the perfect and the sinner. That happened in 1948. That's why you got that division. It tells you Christ and Antichrist. That means they're equal. That's what you have. Negative and positive. That means both sides are equal. Christ and Antichrist. At that time, universal equal. Right? Just perfect justice, perfect lie. And that's why, right, at that point in time. So during this point in time right now, perfect justice. One for one. That's why Elijah was told, right? Not that Sunni stuff, that 4 wives and all that kind of stuff, right? And well, man, we're going to be Sunni, man. We should, no. Because he was given wisdom from the mighty one, the Lord of Dawn, Master Farad Muhammad. But even he didn't take the responsibility to do that. That responsibility was given to Ancient of Days, the Messenger of the Covenant, to clean up everything, set everything right, correct, balance it out. Set the balance, fine tune everything, and then pass on to him. That's why those things are written like that, brothers and sisters. Day of the Lord. Let's look at this day of the Lord. See, when is the day of the Lord? See, we're going to try to bring all these things together. Okay? I want you to understand. It's about mercy. You understand mercy? There's no mercy in perfection by definition. Because that means it's not perfect. You leave your tolerance. So even if a mercy, you're not going to find it. Not here. Because things have to be made perfect. That's Suleiman's job, to make everything perfect. Now, your idea of perfect is probably wrong. Because your idea of perfect is somebody walk around, right? And they don't get dirty, they don't use the bathroom, and yeah, that's perfect, right? No, that's not balance. You eat, you gotta, positive comes in, negative goes out. Gotta be balanced. When you see Suleiman, he be balanced. Like what our children say, hey, he's real. You see him, he like Farrakhan. Oh, I'm so holy. I know shit. I know this, and I don't say things like that. See, I'm a manure, right? You're in it, and I got this testicle fortitude, and that's bullshit. He ain't balanced. He's trying to pretend like they're trying to get a story about Jesus. He didn't walk on water, didn't have a father. I mean, how does that happen? You got to start from the sperm. See? So they put that story, but once you Learn biology, you know that's possible. But they give you this idea of divinity that's not balanced. That's when they give you the positive side. That's why they make all their gods on the positive side. They're imbalanced. They're all on the positive side. They don't do any negative stuff. You know, they don't lie, they don't steal, they don't kill. You understand? There's holy. Jesus is holy. He don't kill nothing. But yet still, he's going to put all his enemies in hell. See, if you look and listen to that story, him, man, he's like holy rolling, man. So perfection is, right? They say, well, why can't God lie? He can lie if he wants to. He created everything. If he created lies, why can't he lie? You got lies right in the Quran. There's a situation in the Quran where it says something about, I think they had a battle or something. I need to get the verse right. And so a revelation was given to him. And then following the revelation says, well, I only gave you that to inspire you. Well, that means I didn't tell you the truth. I gave something to inspire. I didn't tell you the truth. I gave something to inspire you. I only told you that to inspire you. Not that God's a liar. He's not a liar. But when you say he can't lie, you put restrictions. Then you're confusing people. So they don't know what to expect. You got to place him in there, and Jesus, when he goes after false Israel, hey, no, your father's the devil. You ain't no seed of Abraham. If you see Abraham, you do the works of Abraham. And then right after that, what he says, I know you see Abraham. Now, is that a bad translation? Was Jesus lying or what? Because he definitely said you ain't, and then he says you are. We got to be real, brothers and sisters. That's the balance. You see all creation. Balance. And they got you out of balance. Got you looking for some God that's doing all these great things, right? And that you look for something that is impossible, that doesn't exist. You don't see balance. So you see somebody balance, oh man, something wrong with that person because see, they say, well, he's just a man. Because I mean, he says this, he talk like that. You hang with that if you want to. Perfect balance. Is it near perfect balance, right? You eat, but you don't eliminate waste. How does that work? Like I said, when somebody say you full of shit, they're not telling a lie. Because or you walking around right now, we all got waste inside of us. Until we go eliminate, then we got more inside. We walk around with it inside of us all day long. You won't touch it, but it's inside of your body. Come on. That's why Master Muhammad, so Elijah Muhammad says, Elijah Muhammad says, what's holy? He said, a possum is holy. I don't know much Elijah Muhammad stood back on that one. Because he said, a possum is like a pig, hog. It's worse. In some ways, it's worse. Because all it does is eat dead things. But that's where Elijah Master Muhammad told me it was holy. Be real. Mathematics. Real. Okay. Going through the Holocaust. Look at going through the Holocaust. What's holy about that? But it was holy, but you don't understand it. Because the process that turns into something better. They didn't understand that. Anyway, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna move on. See, if your mind's trapped in this nonsense, it says God will lift you up, but you cling to earth. He's getting ready to break that. He's getting ready to destroy that what you're clinging to. He's getting ready to talk like that out, and you get your mind back, brothers and sisters. Like children say on the street, man, he's real. Why do you say he's real? Are they talking about Farrakhan? Oh, they ain't talking about him. They talking about the brother and sister that's real, that relate. Ain't putting on no airs, trying to be something they ain't not. Right? Talking, not 25 syllable words and all that kind of stuff. Just real. And that's what someone has to bring you back to reality. It's why it's reality says real in it. Starts out real. Bring back to reality, because your mind's reality someplace. You're going to go to heaven, and you're going to be wings, and you're going to live forever, right? And you're never going to go to the bathroom and nothing like that there, and all that kind of stuff. They got you all this weird mind all messed up because you have the wrong idea, but what's real? You're real. But your mind is unreal. I got to give back to you. Look at the animal world. You make people think that you have people think that children come here from a stork. What you gotta do? You gotta take your clothes off, right? You gotta get down. You gotta do wiggling and moving around and stuff. I mean, give me a break with this bullshit. Look at that process that brings you to being. The process that put you here. Where'd you come out of? You come out of a spaceship? Do you know what you came out of? Do you know what goes in there? Brothers, let me move on there. I tell you. You gotta get your mind back, brothers. You got the old holy roly sister, right? See? And somehow she think, right, that somehow she gonna have this baby, but she ain't got to take her clothes off. And she got to mess with no man. Right? Or something. Because that's where you tell the story of Mary, right? She didn't take clothes, no problem. She had to go to the bathroom or anything. See? And then when the baby comes, how does it come? It's come out of a mouth. You seen that process? So that's why that's why I said, someone had to come and get your mind straight, get you back real. He had to be real people. No around with wings and singing holy, holy, holy all day long and worshiping some mystery god somewhere. Suleiman didn't come to be worshipped. He tell you that. He don't want you worship him and what you talking about. He's honorable this and honorable that. F with all that crap. Real. Master Muhammad called you brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts. He didn't come here on a cloud. He used the bathroom. He didn't say he was born without a father. He even went so far as said he got a sister. And he said, father, slept with this woman, his mother, and the first child was a baby. He said, oops. Well, it was a girl. He said, oops, because he wanted a boy. Master Muhammad was about as real as you can be. He talks about, I'm going to tell you about, he was as real as he can be. But you got this weird idea about, oh man, you can, and they tell you, if you talk to old timers, I'm not I'm an old timer now, but I wasn't an old timer back to the time when Master Muhammad was around, because I met some of those people, and they tell you the language they used back then, you would be totally offended with today. Time shifts, so they changed the type of language they was using. That don't mean they stopped calling devils devils, that's the lessons. Those are real people. Elijah Muhammad was real. It's real. It is real. It is real. It is real. Why do you think they call us? That's who we really are. It is real. Why do you think that name come? Can I tell you that? It is real. Who is real? Who was given the name Israel? Jacob. What was Jacob? Mischievous. He going around, ripped his brother off, deceived his brother, took his brother. And his name is real. He's the one getting the covenant. He's the one getting the reward. And you say, well, man, that guy, he was lying and stealing and all kinds of stuff. But God chose him. Because he was real. Not saying you have to be a liar, no. But he had his mind on the prize, his mind on the main thing. And he was willing to do anything it took to get it. And that's the kind of spirit God wants you to be. He wants you to do everything that you can do to get to the hereafter and get your people to the hereafter, no matter what it takes. You was like, man, well, you know, I didn't have time. I had to say my prayers. I had to say my prayers. And then people, their lives are lost. That's why it says, right? It says, when you fight the way of Allah, that's one of the greatest, right? That's bread and prayer. If you actually fight the way of Allah, I remember, you know, when I was foreman at Muhammad Street newspaper, I was night shift foreman, right? And these brothers supposed to be FY, right? And they was always trying to get around stuff. I mean, I had trouble trying to get them to the way it's supposed. I could understand that. I was younger than them. I was like about 23 at the time, right? I'm trying to get them to do the work and everything we're doing, right? So they come up with this thing they thought they were going to get over. They went and said, oh, man, well, look, we got to stop. Because you couldn't stop the press. You stopped the press, you lost a lot of waste and stuff, right? We got to say prayers. And that's their brilliant idea. They want to stop to say prayers. I mean, how can you fight with that one? How can I say no on that one? But I did say no and got backed up by the messenger, too. You know that? Because the messenger sent word back and said, we ain't paying you to pray. We paying you to work. You that bullshit Farrakhan give that's not had nothing to do with Master Muhammad, had nothing to do with Elijah Muhammad. Because they real. I'm real. See? And my job is to get you home. And if anybody don't like me saying shit and that kind of stuff, good. Stay away. Go back to your little hole and pray to your Buddha or Shiva or your fake Jesus or whatever, and do your prayers, right? And walk on water, right? And all the things you do, right? And make sure you cook your pork really done, right? And pray over it, do all that stuff. But get the F away from me. Because we going home and my people going to be real. Real people, not plastic people walking around. Oh, so holy. Hey, bro, how you doing, bro? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, sister. What's happening? Our children got better sense than most of these adults do. Family. That's why it's going to be one tribe. Not even all these tribes anymore. Family. See? We're going to be happy with each other. What's going on, brother? What's going on, sister? Assalamu alaikum. You know? Now, well, fasting today. Don't touch me, man, because I'm missing my prayers. You know? Let's move on, brothers and sisters. You get it. You're going to get it. You know, I mean, the birthing process should tell you about everything you know about being real. Look at the animal kingdom, right? See? Eat each other. But anything is that some have to go to tribulation to get the message. Because we ain't going to have no fake people in the hereafter. We ain't going to have no fake imitation, right? Parrots. We ain't going to have that. Let's stay on this side. We don't want that. Real people. Real life. No, I'm bigger than you. You got all that America, right? I'm a billionaire, so I'm bigger than you. I'm your boss. Man, all that bullshit is going. You tell your hand tell your foot, I'm the boss, you better listen to me. You love them all. You love all parts of it. You treat them all with respect. Right? At least that's what you should do if you got any sense. It ain't going to be that I'm bigger than you, I got more money than you. All that stuff is going to end all here. Everybody be real. So let's move on, brothers and sisters. I got adjustment here. Hold on a second. Let me just move around into our presentation here, brothers and sisters. I should do it. Okay. Got a little issue here. I said, oh, I see. Okay, that should be better. That's good. Oops. Okay, let's move into the presentation, brothers and sisters. Day of the Lord. Now, when's the day of the Lord? People talking about the day of the Lord. When is it? The Lord's Day. When is that? Well, the angel tells you in the very first chapter. When is it? What will it be like? The Lord's Day. Day of the Lord, the Lord's Day. Same thing, right? What is it? What will it be like? See? What is it? What will it be like? The Lord's Day. Let's look. Let's take a look. Is this in the 10th verse, first chapter of what you call Revelations? Yeah. I came to be in the spirit, pertaining to the Lord's day. Heard behind me voice, great as a trumpet. Now I'll go into all the details of this. Hold on. Oops. Get back up here for a second, brothers and sisters. Kind of like got ahead of myself here. The Lord's Day. Okay. I got 2 sessions going here, brothers and sisters, so I got kind of out of sync. And this 10th verse, I came in spirit and pertaining to the day, the Lord, pertaining to the Lord's day, the Lord's day. So, and it's going to tell you when the Lord's day is. It says, "Will come as a thief, going to come as a surprise." It's going to be a surprise. See? Surprise to them, not to you, if you're paying attention. So here it is. Now, not going into all the details about the chapter, we're studying yourself, right? This one that's in there, it says, "He like the Son of Man." They tell you that's Jesus. That's how even Farrakhan telling you that. That's not Jesus there. It says, "One like the Son of Man." That means he's not. You know, I mean, you want to go with that? Fine. It says he's like. They say he's like, that means he's not. Something similar. Maybe a fake, maybe a real thing. I mean, maybe a fake or imitator or whatever, right? But it's not. It's not it. So here you go. He says, "You see those 7 lampstands?" Well, that's the original name. He said the golden. The reason why I say gold in there, because remember, the golden represents, it's more of our complexion. So all the blacks look black, right? But underneath, there's something else. Like Farrakhan, he's a devil. His father's a devil. He's a devil. He just got black skin, devil and black skin, which we call demons. What scriptures call demons. And then he sees this one like something and walked among the churches. I'm not going into that kind of detail. But he had death and Hades in his hand. This is what I was talking about. So you want to study it, right? And said, John, he was an island. Islands between waters. See, that's what John was. He's between waters. And he turned, right? He says he turned. He saw 11 lampstands, so that's where in that position. But he says what you're looking at. So he's looking at the one that's like the Son of Man, right? And he had these 7 churches there. And I got the churches named, right? Okay. So when you go and look at a church, when you understand the angel key and look at the formula of church, you know the day of the Lord, because he says this is the day of the Lord. This is what the world would look like as the day of the Lord. That means original nations all come together, right? That's the resurrection, right? That's America and Britain thrown out of the Middle East. False Israel, that is under siege. That's what the day of the Lord. That's what the day of the Lord would happen. That means it's going to happen any day now. But this war is going to happen any day now. So it's telling you that war, where America and Britain is trying the Middle East and false Israel under siege, that's the day of the Lord. That's the day of the Lord. And that's a 1-year period. 1-year period. So it's right there. It says, "When I was there in the spirit pertains to the Lord's day." That's where Lord doors they start. That's where Lord Day starts, right there. When you see that situation. And they get ready to go to war in the Middle East, ain't they now? And America's will be at war in Europe. See, Russia, size is Russia. Lacedia, right? That's Eastern Europe, or Western Europe. Russia's Eastern Europe, the two legs of the Roman Empire, which you see in Daniel. America's will be in right in the middle of them. And America's will be at war with both of them. I keep telling you, Europe's going to betray America. They're all going to be fighting on Russia and Western Europe's going to be fighting. East and Western Europe will be fighting against America. Or Philadelphia. That's the day of the Lord. And those you've been studying, you know, that's their way. Could be their way, could be ours away. Anyway, I'm not going into the details, but we know it's close. Because they're telling you. They say Iran is that close to a nuclear weapon. They say somebody may have it. It's got tons of enriched uranium at 60%. And they say they're fast moving towards 90%, which is what you need, right, to guarantee an explosion. 80% will get an explosion, but 9% you need to guarantee an explosion, nuclear explosion. And they say the only days, some people say weeks away, some people say days away. Nobody's talking months away anymore. As far as Israel says, they have to take them out. They have to take them out before it happens. America's told, if you don't come back JCPOA, well, I told you 3.5 years ago they would not do it. I said, they're not going back. They said, if you don't go back, plan B. What's plan B? They tell you that's military, you have to attack them. You have to do it before they develop it. So you do the math. Add up, brothers and sisters, do the math. And false Israel is not bluffing. They can't. Because that's an extra strength to them. Because Iran has nuclear weapons that neutralizes false Israel's advantage. Because that's why they lord it over the Middle East, because they got nuclear weapons, everybody's backing off. But once Iran has it, then they have neutralized theirs, because Iran says, well, if you use yours, I use mine on you. So false Israel would not dare use their nuclear weapons, and once that happens, that means the whole power shift in the Middle East changes. That means it moved from a nuclear threat, nuclear blackmail, which false Israel is doing to all the Arab countries, to a conventional war, which they outnumber like 100 to 1. I mean, Iran has about 60 million people there, right? And false Israel had about 6 million. So that's 10 to 1 right there. Forget about Turkey and Iraq and Syria. Syria got what? They outnumber them also. So they could not win a ground war. But that's what happened. So that means they cannot, unless they want to get out of town. And we said, I'm going to do that. Anyway, that's the day of the Lord, brothers. That's what it looks like. And that's what you're going to see in a few more days. Dear Lord, going to come and correct everything. That's what he's going to judge. Says, I will judge that nation that afflicted you for 400 years. Abrahamic covenant, afflicted. Enslavement and affliction. Enslavement was loud. The affliction was not. I will judge the nation. What happened? And one of the first plagues would be, I will kill the firstborn, and I'll pass over you. Firstborn is the elderly. 1619, 2019. 400 years, 2019, it came in with the plague. And round time, killing the elderly. It passed over us, even though they lied to you, maybe killing demons. Not killing us. Right? Okay. So here it is. That's what their Lord looks like. So these are things that will be happening, dear Lord. Finally, Paul says it's taken down. So we famine. We'll talk about that. Four winds blows. Right? That just shows the foot of ones walking amongst the churches. So that's the beginning of their Lord. And that's a year process of unprecedented trouble. See, all blacks come together, the demons are cast out, and we the time of Jacob's trouble, and Jacob delivered out of it. Understand, brothers and sisters. So here, now let's see what some of the things that will happen, dear Lord. What it says, says, the great day of the Lord is near, near and coming very quickly. And that's absolutely true. Coming very quickly, because it's supposed to be revealed at this time, not in the past, because that would be quickly if it's 2,000 years ago. Listen, the day of the Lord, it is the warrior. In it, the warrior cries out bitterly. I mean, it's so bad that the army is going to cry out bitterly. It's going to be so distressing to them. They're going to be wiped out. Remember, America is going to be throwing troops into Europe by the tens of thousands, and like a lot of them said, they'll come back out of tens. Be total slaughter. They're going to get a lot of these demons to go in with them. They're going to get some of you foolish black folks, original people, into it too. They're going to be throwing them over there like hotcakes by tens of thousands, coming by tens. They're going to be slaughterhouse over in Europe. That's Armageddon. That's the remaining 9 plagues. Be slaughterhouse over in Europe. See, they're going to be caught in the vice between their old friends, EU, NATO, and Russia. See? And they're going to be obliterated. It's going to be a slaughterhouse over there. Slaughter field. That's just over there. See? In the meantime, India and China is encroaching on the West Coast. That's the goat. Talking about Daniel. Easing up on the West Coast. And while in America, they got a full-blown civil war going with the demons. Farrakhan and his demons think they can take America, 17 million. Dear the Lord, when ye appear, total disaster, and be a time of Jacob's trouble, with Jacob be removed out of it. See, that 140,000, they're going out. They're taken out. See? That day is a day of anger. Not mercy. Day of anger. Day of trouble and distress. The day of destruction and desolation. Day of darkness and gloom. Day of clouds of thick darkness. That's the day of the Lord. Voices. Feeling again. I keep telling me I need to rest. I can't rest, bro. But we're that close. Can't rest. I'll rest when time comes. Okay. That's the day of the Lord. Just keep on going with it. A day of trumpet and battle cry against the fortified cities and the high corner towers. Who's the fortified cities and the high corner towers? That's America. Heard the Twin Towers, like that's America that Macy's talking about. It's about Britain too. Britain's gonna be the first one to go. China's gonna take out Britain's like that in a heartbeat. They're gonna be totally devastated. They said the outcry, because they're the firstborn in the unsealed Bible, in the sealed Bible, in unsealed Bible. So the cry gonna be so great in America, because America looks at Britain, their husband. I mean, like they blood, because they always defended Britain, but Britain's gonna be totally devastated. Women and children, everything is totally wiped out, brown to dust. China's not gonna have any mercy on those people. China and North Korea have no mercy on them. They're gonna totally destroy them, and they're gonna do what remains, their armies and stuff. They're gonna rush over here, because this is where they're gonna make their last stand. This hemisphere, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, all of them. What remains are there, because they're gonna take out Australia too. They're gonna come over here to make their last stand. Day of trumpet, battle cry against the fortified cities. It's not European cities, primarily America, but European cities. They're the fortified cities, high corner towers, high rise building, all that kind of stuff. That's what their Lord's going to be like. And you're in it now, brothers and sisters, beginning of it. You don't know. Trying to, I'm going to wake up Lazarus. I've been putting the work in. Will bring distress on mankind, so they will walk like those who are blind. They talk about Europeans, mankind, the kind of a man, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood will pour out like dust, and their flesh like dung, like shit. Whoa! That's what's coming on you, America, land of the brave, home of the free, brave. So brave about enslaving women and children, raping them. women and children, little girls. And free. How the hell was we free? Who was free? We weren't free. Hypocrites. See? It's the land of death, destruction, stealing, theft. What did they went out? Steal, kill, and destroy. Genocide, murder, rape, sodomy. And look right now. Now you gender confusion. That's what America really is. There's a warrant out for your arrest. Because those things are not what they call a statute of limitation. No statute of limitation on murder, rape, kidnapping, all kind of stuff. So you say nobody's above the law, America. So what's your issue? You nobody's above the law, so now there's one out for your arrest. And we got the evidence. You stand on the evidence. You know, it's like a person steal a car, right? And the cops catch him in the car. I don't know nothing about it. The evidence right there, you sitting in the evidence. You sitting in the evidence. They got your ass. So America's sitting on the evidence. Whose land is this? How'd you get it? Uh-oh. What happened to the people that was here? Uh-oh. How these black folks get over here? Uh-oh. You right here, the evidence. The evidence is right here. You call it theory, whatever you want to call it. You're sitting on the evidence. And God's here to judge your ass. And you're going to pay every penny. That's what this, that, there, Lord, it's about. Keep going, brothers and sisters. Neither the silver nor the gold will be able to save them on the day of the Lord's anger. Remember, they're going to throw silver and gold in the streets. Because they held that, and I was, oh man, I got silver and gold. But when there's no food, because famine's coming, I'm going to talk about in the end later. But when there's no food, everything, how you going to get satisfaction coming that gold and silver when you realize no food, ain't no food coming? It ain't like some food's going to come and you waiting for it. It ain't nothing coming. You realize no food is coming. So therefore that gold and silver is going to burn you. Because you realize that's why you catching all this hell, because it was your love for gold and silver that brought this about. Because your love for gold and silver that caused you to enslave us and do like maximum profit, minimum overhead. It's all about capitalism. Capitalism didn't free the world. It enslaved the world. So then you're going to realize that gold and silver that you was in love with meant nothing. Because now you're paying consequences, and that silver and gold cannot help you. It cannot fill your stomach, as the scripture say. So you're going to throw it in the street. Neither that silver nor the gold be able to save them. They also talk about spiritually, talk about us. Right? Because we're the gold and the Levites are the silver. Right? Neither the silver nor the gold will be able to save them on the day of the Lord's anger. And all the earth will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. Talking about European countries. Be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. Just talking about somebody coming with a rosebud. Hey, man, we are about peace, man. Let's love everybody. Let's give everybody mercy. That what that sound like? This is the day of the Lord. It says, quickly approaching. Right? For he will make a complete end. Totally destroy them. Indeed, a horrifying one. Horrifying end. Remember the Holocaust? As you have done, so be done to you. They inflicted Holocaust on us, so now we're going to inflict the Holocaust on them, every bit of it, and we're going to compress it all into 1 year. But every bit of it's going to be in there. It'll be, for he will make a complete end, indeed a horrifying one, on all the inhabitants of the earth, all the European countries. A horrifying one. Why use the word horrifying? Then, like when you read the proper translation, Abraham, when he had a vision of us going into captivity, he says it was a vision of horror. A vision of horror. Because that's what inflicted us, horror. I'm not, I got a little space in between. So when you go read it, right, it's not in the order I'm giving it. And also, I'm only showing the parts that's pertinent to what I'm talking about. So we don't jump around and, make scripture say what I want to say. I'm just letting you know that what's in the middle there, I didn't speak on that. So you can go look at read it. See? So go and read it if you think there's something that's going to obfuscate what I just said. Right? So actually this part is before the part I just told you. This is verse 1 and 2. I will completely remove all things from the face of the earth. Same thing just said. Declared the Lord, I will completely remove all things. Wipe it clean. Total destruction. It's no mercy, bro. It says it's perfection. No mercy. So they're going to wipe it totally. I will completely means all, total. I remove human and animal life. There's nothing will live here. It's talking about mostly talking about this hemisphere. This hemisphere is totally wiped out. I will remove the birds of the sky and the fish of the sea and the ruins among the wicked. You're gonna be nothing to eat. That's another way to tell you there's nothing to eat, bro. So you're gonna be able to go fishing. Says there'll be no food. That's one way of telling you there'll be no food, bro. Says be no bird, nothing to eat. That's another way of telling you you're gonna have nothing to eat but yourself. That's what you're gonna be doing, right? And the ruins along with the wicked. I will eliminate mankind from the face of the earth, declares the Lord. Remember, earth represents European countries. Mankind, the kind of a man. See? They had a form of godliness, denying the power thereof. They didn't have the essence of it. They had that form, but not an essence. So I will stretch out my hand against Judah, against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Oh, who controls Jerusalem? When they say Judah here, see, the word Jew comes from Judah. It's short for Judah. That's where the word comes from. That's where it comes from. Jew comes from the word Judah. Because they claim this they was a tribe of Judah. They're supposed to be the best tribe. So they shortened it to call them Jews. You understand what I'm saying? And who controls Jerusalem? See what he's trying to tell you here? I will stretch out my hand against Judah and all the houses of Jerusalem. I will eliminate the remnants of Baal from this place. See, they worship Baal, but I'm not going into details about Baal. They worship Baal. They you, right? And the names of the idolatrous priests along with their other priests. See? So eliminate false Israel. I'll stretch my hand against the inhabitants of Jerusalem. I will eliminate the remnants. See? This is their Lord. Dear Lord, and those who bow down on the housetops to the heavenly lights, those who bow down and swear, Lord, but also swear by Milcom, whoever Milcom is, those who have turned back from following the Lord, those who have not sought the Lord nor inquired of him. Total destruction. Okay, so we're going to move to another. Now, what you want to do, brothers, because before I move to this, just consider what we just talked about. Then we're going to talk about this other. So consider what we just talked about, brothers and sisters. Then we're going to take a few minutes to talk about the supply chain. Okay? And try to get you to understand it because you're being affected by it right now. So take a few seconds to do that, brothers and sisters. See if I can get my voice under control here. Since we're going on a little adventure here, and hopefully be illuminating to some of you. So we're going to talk about the supply chain. What's supply chain? See, you got to understand this society is based on the mind of Chaldeans, like I told you they represent the Europeans there. So they have this organization after coming out of the Dark Age, and I explained when you're under pressure, right? You have to transform when you reach a threshold where the pressure is too great in the form that you're currently in. You have to transform. So you can have a positive transformation or a negative transformation. If you have a positive transformation, it means you can transform it to another form that can withstand that pressure, like in the case of a diamond. And if you can't, then you crush to dust. So the 1,000 years of Prophet Muhammad, the pressure he put on them forced Europeans to transform into the form they have today, which was a form strong enough to withstand the forces of Prophet Muhammad, right, and Islam, the force of Islam that he ignited. See, so that's why they have no effect on them now, because, they transform to a form that can withstand that, so that it's not pressure to them anymore. Because you understand, you understand that. That's why they play with Sunnism like it's a toy. I mean, because remember, they transform to a point where that pressure wasn't any pressure anymore, because they transform like a diamond. Once it transforms, then it doesn't feel the pressure of the earth on them, right? Because now it's transformed to a form that can handle it, so it's balanced. Same thing with them. But they don't have the power to transform anymore. Pressure increasing, so they have to transform again, because they're telling you all this system, everything is failing. They're telling you that if you listen to the news, all that system's failing. The economic system, the political system, the social system, the military, all is failing. Because it's under comprehensive pressure, and they say we need to find a new structure. Defund the police, come with a new type of way of policing. Come with a new economy. Let's do socialism, something else, right? Come with a new military idea, everything, because their system, their systems, right, cannot withstand the pressure they're exposed to. So they got to transfer, but they're not going to be able to. But we have unlimited transformation ability. That's why we're here forever. Anyway, bottom line is we want to deal with one side of this. The distribution chain. So I'm going to point out some things that you might be aware of. Now, this is not the way ours work. We're not going to have anything like this. We're not going to have anything like money, because in our system, everybody receives the same amount of energy. So if we have anything like currency, everybody will get the same much. So if we have a payday every week, so to speak, everybody will get the same amount of money. I don't care who we are. You're the king, you're the queen, right? You're the toe, you're the eyeball, whatever. Everybody gets the same amount, because that's the way nature works. And then the difference is what you do with it. So if you're a foot cell, then you're going to think in that terms. That's where you're going to maybe 5 toenail polish. You understand? I'm not. I'm be a little flipping here, right? But based on your level, that's what you're going to do with what you have, right? And you're going to make your own paradise, because the paradise of a foot cell is not going to be the same paradise of a heart cell. Okay? So don't have anybody, hey man, I'm more, no. Everybody's equal. So you might as well have everybody equal. See? But your brain cell has a certain function. Your toenail has another function. They're equal, because you need both of them. Because if your toe start hurting, your brain gonna let you know. You say, well, I'm a brain cell, I don't care about my toe. No. Your toe will get a lot of attention. Anyway, that's another story, bro, since we get there sooner. Because what I'm talking about, you're going to realize there's no way in the world America's going to be around by the end of next year. Unless they do some heaviness. Ooh, I don't know what that needs to happen. Okay, so here we go. Here's a food chain here. Basic food chain. See, farmer, right? Producer, food manufacturer, bulk, shipper of processors, retail distributor, food service distributor, international shippers, to grocery stores, restaurants, international markets, consumer and so forth. So in other words, the reason I'm point, I got another one. Well, this is sort of a different way, but we're going to talk about a few things. See, right now, and they say anything, but they're lying to you. First, America is topsoil. You need topsoil to grow things. The same thing that creates topsoil is what produces oil. Now, I'm not going to all the details about oil because we gave them the society because we wanted them to get rid of that oil. That's another story altogether. Because their whole society is based on oil. But oil is not. Oil doesn't grow like trees. The oil they raise, it took billions of years to produce that oil. And when it runs out, this whole society collapses because this whole society is totally dependent upon oil in ways that you can't even imagine. And we knew that. So we knew once and they've almost used all of it. They can't tell you that. But they know they can't go another 50 years on oil because it's going to be all gone. They tell you what's climate. No, the real reason is they don't have enough oil. They use it too fast. The population uses it too fast. They use it faster and faster every day. And so therefore, when oil runs out, this whole economy collapses. It's like, if you stop breathing for about 10 minutes, you're going to die. So they stop. If oil cuts off, right, this whole society collapses. That's why so is concerned about oil now. Russia, they blew up their pipeline, right? Saudi Arabia said we're going to cut back on supplies because they know once oil runs out, all they got is sand, and nobody's buying sand. It's all not a lot of stories. The bottom line is topsoil. It's the process of making topsoil the same that it makes oil. It's decayed organic matter. Right? When it dies, the earth turns it into either oil or topsoil. So under that sand over in Arabia, you got yards and yards deep of topsoil. But America's using more of topsoil. But they could have lots of topsoil. But see, they left Europe because they ran out of topsoil. They had blight, nothing to grow. They had blight and all kinds of stuff in there, especially Ireland. They couldn't grow anything. They couldn't grow anything. So they come and stole these people's land, right? And so now they was able to produce, because they was hungry and everything, but they couldn't produce anything. So they come over here, because they was surprised with the so-called Thanksgiving, right? They talk about. They were starving. Indians gave them a banquet, man. They saw so much food they couldn't believe it. Instead of thanking the Indians and saying, well, thank you, can we work with you? They just killed it and took the food. Because, you know, they didn't know they was dealing with devils. You understand? So they ran out. But now they've done the same thing to America. That's why the focus on Africa now. You don't even know that. They ain't telling you. But China's already there. That's one of the reasons why they got to take out this whole lot of stuff. I'm not going into that kind of detail here. Right? But that's because Africa is very rich. Africa still, even with all the stuff that's going on, Africa is one of the richest continents on the planet. Arabia's North Africa. Don't forget that. Arabia's part of Africa. So they had so much topsoil when they came over here, you could almost throw a seed on top of the ground, it would grow. But if you use it all up. So now they're telling you right now, they say, well, Russia's the greatest producer of some kind of fertilizer that they said they have to use in order to make things grow. Well, hold it. Excuse me now. When you came over here, was there Russia then? Oh, well, it was Russia, but they weren't exporting topsoil, were they? So why you need Russian fertilizer now? We didn't need it back then if you got so much topsoil. They tell you got a lot of topsoil. Why? Because they're still trying to sell, hope you buy the idea of selling out your inheritance for some 6 states, which they know it's going to be burned and you ain't going to be able to grow anything. Farrakhan. See, you spying in this bullshit, you ain't checking out. America does not have topsoil, it's run out. If they give you, if you buy that 6 states, you have them, and then you won't be able to grow anything. America belongs to us. There's nothing here anymore. They ruined the country. Europe doesn't grow anything over there. They import almost all their food because they ruined the country. They ruined Europe, and now they ruined America because the way they abuse everything, and you know they eat 25 times a day and everything else, right? They're not conservative. They call it conservative, right? Conservative. No, they abuse it. No, anyway, they run out of topsoil. That's why they need all this fertilizer come from Russia. They won't tell you that. They're also getting it from Africa too, because they're getting these weak-kneed African kings over there or whatever, and they tell them buying the topsoil. They going and taking Big old thing screwed all the topsoil and send America, they can go over here. And they know you got a famine in Africa. They ain't telling people that. Because they wouldn't have to do that if they had lots of topsoil. They're running out. They don't want you to know that. Like I said, again, I hope that you buy that thing about you going to take America and find you ain't nothing to take. Because you ain't going to be able to grow anything. Anyway, that in mind. So you need topsoil to plant, right? So now you plant, but now most of the planting, right, with tractors, you need oil for that, right? Keep in mind, get oil. You know, if you tractor stuff, but not, right? Where you need a mule, still got, you need a mule, they don't have oil, but you need a mule, right? Gotta feed the mule, right? And then once you do that, after you harvest everything, then you go to distributors. That's the warehouses and stuff. But you got to get there. See? You also got to get, if that fertilizer comes from Russia, you got to get there. You got to use oil to get there. Follow me? Then you got to get oil to transfer it from farms and everything. We're talking about farm. We're talking about the food chain. This works all other kinds of industries too, but we're going to focus on this is the simplest one. Then you got to have transportation costs to get it there. Now it's set up in the warehouses, right? So you place it in the warehouse. Then from the warehouses, the grocery stores get it, right? Because somebody has to take and transport it from the warehouse to the grocery stores and the restaurants and so forth. All for that too. So you got, right? Then finally it gets to the consumer. That's the process. Now what's going on in the world today? Now it's telling you America's going to go to famine. It says, their Lord comes suddenly. Suddenly. Let's look at part of this. Okay. Say, for instance, for whatever reason, they can't farm. So no food. So in other words, something happens and they can't farm. So what the food that's available is in the warehouses. Now, how much food is there in the warehouses? Let's say America, for instance, how much food is stored in the warehouses? Is enough food for a month, 10 months, 3 months? It says enough food in 3 months. Well, you won't know that you ran out of food until 3 months later, because food's still coming. But the warehouse is getting empty and empty and empty and emptier, so eventually it won't be nothing in there. All of a sudden, then you find out, but that you've been in a famine for 3 months, but you don't find out until instantly. Go to the store, there's nothing there, because they didn't tell you that they're not farming anymore. Because they can't produce. Why? Maybe they're not farming because they don't have any topsoil. Maybe they're not getting any fertilizer from Russia. Because now Russia's cutting off the fertilizer because they're at war with Russia. Also, Russia's affecting the oil because they control the oil from Europe, and now they busted those lines. I mean, that's no story. Russia didn't do it. But the thing is that you see oil prices going up. It's going higher and higher and higher. Right? But that's going to affect, right, the cost of the food, because when it gets to the farmer, right, when it gets to the manufacturer, wherever, where they have to process food, whatever, it's going to cost more money. You see? Because they got to pay for the shipping costs. They also get to the warehouse. Inflation. See inflation going up? All this stuff is costing more. Plus, oil supply is going up, so it means that costs more. So now you got oil supply going up, if the oil supply goes, that means food can go up more too. Because now you got to cost more to transform it there. So you see inflation? See, you're going to see all the signs of it, but you don't know how to read the signs. Because you see these things happening right now. Fuel costs going up, food costs going up, but you don't know the reason. I'm trying to show you the reason. All the stuff going on in the world, right? In conflict with Russia, all of a sudden. And then you got the weather. What's the breadbasket of America? One of the main breadbaskets is California and southern Florida. In disasters. That means even if they do have fertilizer, they can't grow anything because they got floods and fires and bad weather and everything else. And like in California, you got drought. So you need water. And so they can't grow anything out there because they got, so you living off the warehouse right now, you don't realize it. See? And the warehouse is going to charge more money because they realize they're using up what they got there and they're going to have no more coming in. So they're going to get as much money as they can out of you. Inflation again. Raise the prices. I'm trying to get you to understand it real well what's going around you that you ain't paying attention because you think you're going to see it instantly. You think, no, you may find like with the sun, if the sun was to go out today, right now, right this second, you would find it's 9 minutes later because it takes that long for light to get here from the sun, 9 minutes. So you wouldn't know that you was in famine until maybe 3 months later. You may be in it right now. You don't know it. And then suddenly no food. You're looking, why no food? The warehouse was empty. Why the warehouse was empty? Well, because they couldn't afford the fuel to get the food to the warehouse, or they couldn't grow anything, or the weather, or because no fertilizer, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? These things you're not paying attention to, but signs are there. Famine's hitting America in a few days. Famine's hitting America in a few days. You're already in a famine right now. It's just the warehouses still got food in them. The fuel costs going up. Food costs going up because that chain's being broken. Where? Where's it broken? Look at down line. Where's it broken? It's broken at the where they actually run out topsoil. They can't get any fertilizer. Or is it can't get any energy? No fuel. Or the fuel's too much. Where in there? Because remember, once it gets to the distributor, then still got fuel costs to get to you again. So all that got to be factored into the price. Or maybe you just can't afford it. It was too much. So go a little further here. See, I got some more. Here's one that gives you a total cycle. See? That's how it being real. See? It gives you a total cycle here. Because what happens is, it gives you the whole thing. See, the part you want to notice is when it says it gets to the consumer right there, then we have, it says compost. You know what that is? That's your human waste and everything. And it goes into a filtering station, and they take it and process and everything else, right? Clean up and blah, go back to the ground, and, right? Because they use that as a fertilizer too. Because you can't just put a seed in the ground and grow. It needs nutrients in the ground to grow with. And the nutrients come from human waste and animal waste and like, because what do you think topsoil, I just said, come from decayed matter. They call it compost. See? Waste disposal. And then back to seed again. Seed grows off of that. Goes to the farmer. Farmer takes it in farms, right? Goes out to the processing, right? Remember, he's got to ship it to there. So they don't show that part. He got to ship it to there and ship it. And then once it comes out there, it's got to ship to the stores. So you got a lot of shipping in there, but they don't show it. They don't show shipping one time. That's the full cycle. Where's it interrupted anywhere? See, this war is going to totally disrupt it. See? Plus all this, because remember, they got so-called global society now. So all this stuff anywhere, but you will not notice it. Like it says, momentous in heaven and earth, but coming by the second. You can relate to this too, because all these things, right? But you realize in a second, but it's already been happening. It's already happening. You're already in a famine. You're already in it. It's just how much food is stored. And how much they're going to charge you for when they see it's almost gone, like 10%, and they ain't got not replenished. How much they're going to charge you? At that time, I said, man, we're going to charge you a whole lot because we ain't got that much. We're going to be out of business pretty soon. So how much inflation will go because of that? than the oil. That's all crisis in the world right now. See? With Russia, with Europe, Middle East is all crisis right now. Those societies based on what I just told you. That's where they base their society. Any interruption in there causes chaos. And it tells you there's going to be a major interruption because there's going to be famine. But they're not going to have any food to eat, no, zero food to eat. Either animals, either children, either baby just born, newborn. That's what the scripture says, they're going to eat them. But you ain't paying. Y'all, man, I'm going out with the Walmart. I got some, okay. Yeah, well, where's Walmart getting it from? Getting the warehouse. How much food do they have in the warehouse? Is the food being replenished? How much does it cost Walmart to get that food? And you know, because of oil prices. Can you afford it if you can get it? That's what I want to talk to you about, brothers. So you can look at that and study on your own, that cycle. But it says famine's coming. That means that cycle will be broken. And we know Master Muhammad's getting ready to break a lot of cycles in a minute. When he pull that trigger, all these things are going to collapse. Because they have oil crisis now. We think oil crisis is going to have, if they actually get into war, they're going to need all that oil for war. That means it's going to ration out. That means you shit out of luck. SOL. Because you got problem with oil now. We think it'll be if they get in a real war with Russia, another nuclear power. That means price going to go through the roof. Inflation going to be like that. And the oil is going to be, it's totally expensive. You're not going to be able to afford it. Because in the military, they say we need oil for the military. Because Joe Biden already gave most of the reserves away. So we need all the oil for fighting the military. That means you don't have no oil of your cars on that kind of stuff. That means you got power shortage because you need oil to keep your power and stuff on. Your phone and everything else. Food price will be astronomical. Plus, right, they may have already stopped producing food because of that reason or other reasons. So now you living up the warehouse don't know it. Anyway, famine's come to America, and we talk about famine in a very few days. We ain't talking about next year. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Trying to get you to see the whole picture, get your mind back, see the whole picture. This is a distribution cycle. It's, you know, it's general, it's not detailed. Like I said, I just want to get a general idea. And then you look around the world and see stuff going on in the world, you see that's affecting us. And a war would affect it dramatically. So then what? Total disaster in this country. People dying from fear, anxiety, hunger, all kinds of reasons. Crime, on the page. You see all the symptoms of this stuff right now all around you, brothers and sisters. America's collapsing right before your eyes. In every direction. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I think I'm going to kind of leave it there because my throat is gone. I want to go into more detail there, but I think I made my point. America's collapsing in every aspect, from every place, in every way. And but Farrakhan, was he preparing you for this? You getting the money? Was he preparing you for this? He wasn't preparing. Well, put store of food. That's how it's going to work. Let me say this: Elijah Muhammad told people to store food and all that kind of stuff, right? Absolutely. But Elijah Muhammad had an army, and bro and sister stuck together. I live in a complex owned by Elijah Muhammad. We were in a cult. I had my paid rent and everything else there, right? But I know if anything went down, we had an army that would protect the believers. Farrakhan does not have that now. That'd be bad advice. You better be storing food, right? Because you storing this food. You better, if you're gonna store food, you better store food you don't need to cook. It don't make any noise, right? They don't make any smell. And you definitely don't want to go out looking all fatty and everything because people realize you're eating something. Because they do, they're going to eat you. Because if you cook something, right, and you in Philly, They can smell our way in Chicago. If they're hungry and ain't anything, 2 or 3 days or a week. So they're gonna bust your door down, eating, taking what you got, eating you too. Because they're gonna be eating people. It says they're gonna be eating people. They're gonna be eating people, eating their children, everything, and their animals and everything else. Famine's coming to America, brothers and sisters. And this flag is already being interrupted. It's already being interrupted. It's always causing inflation. Food prices going through the roof. It's going to get much worse. All of it causing all of that. Okay. Food shortages. This party inspiring the war because they want to get control of Russia's oil and other regions too. Because they don't want Russia as compared to when they move into Africa. They want to take Africa. Africa is very still, even though they exploit it, Africa is still the richest continent on the planet. Arabia's part is North Africa, the richest, and that's their new frontier. Because they've already, like I said, they already abused the land here. They don't have any ground. Oh, we got plenty of topsoil. If you guys don't plenty of plants, so why do you need to bring in fertilizer from Russia? How would you grow stuff before you was getting fertilizer from Russia? Because you don't have any topsoil, that's why you're doing it. They're not going to tell you directly, brothers, but me, I read between lines and I pay attention to everything. And I know exactly what they're saying. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm pretty sure that's it. Well, I got another, this is the same thing, this is more basic. It's talking from the farm until it gets to you. Industry, distributors. It breaks down to basic, farming, agriculture, right? Industry, fabricators of the process, whatever, distributors, and then to you. See, all is a primary component there, right? Fertilizer, another primary component there. And right now, those are two critical things in the world today. That's the biggest thing, right? And most of it is out of Russia and the Middle East. The oil, fertilizer come out of Russia. And I want to keep it there, but they just blew up their pipelines recently, Russia pipelines. But you got another player, China, and they get a lot of their electronics from China. In Taiwan, they get all their chips from there. And China's vowed to take Taiwan. So to do that, that means, because right now you can't buy, it's almost impossible to buy a new car because they don't have chips for them. All these things happening right before your eyes. And now the one of the things they're worried about is, since they took out Russia's pipeline, internet, all that stuff goes through pipelines under the ocean. So what if Russia decides to take out one of those pipelines? No internet for you, right? Maybe no cell phone, maybe internet stuff. Take out the right ones. Okay. So they know they're going to war over there, because they already say they already announced they're at war already. They just haven't started shooting the time bombs yet, shooting the bullets. Well, they're shooting the bullets in Ukraine. They ain't brought the heavy weapons yet. So they already said they're at war over there. Imminent war in Iran. Existential threat. You already got Christ here in America. You got civil war going here in America. Political, social, racial. You got already going on. America's doomed. That's why we're leaving, brothers and sisters. You want to stay here with it? If you go to tribulation, you ain't going to like it. That's what's in store for you. So I think that's it, brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's it. I'm going to leave it there. I got to get my voice back together. Assalamu alaikum.